Broadcasting live from Banjul, this is the news at 2000 hours. It's coming to you from the Gambia radio and television services. In our top stories, the political atmosphere reaches fever pitch as Saturday's presidential election edges closer, with 6 presidential candidates campaigning in the Combo area and densely populated Kanife municipality. But we'll bring you the latest on the campaign trail. President Barrow prepares to lay the foundation stone for the construction of the ultra-modern health facility in Farato on Thursday. And the Gambia Red Cross Society intensifies its COVID-19 response in the country with the launch of a new project on the impact of the infectious disease on vulnerable children. And as the globe commemorates World AIDS Day on December 1st, the United Nations calls for solidarity and more investment to end inequality and stigma in the fight against HIV/AIDS by 2030. All details of these plus many more stories coming ahead. Do stay tuned. Welcome back to the News at 8 with me, Fatimata Sise. We begin this edition with exclusive coverage of the political campaign, starting with the National Unity Party, which has launched the second leg of its political campaign in the Greater Banjul area after 2 weeks in provincial Gambia. Well, the NUP held meetings in Jiboro, Basuri, Lamin Kerawan, Welingara and Sukuta in the West Coast region. And their campaign trail is led by Secretary General and Standard Bearer Abdullahi Ibrahim Jame, who has promised universal health coverage by providing good health care services for all Gambians if voted into office. We'll hope to bring you details of the report by our Usman Mane, who is accompanying the NUP team before the end of this newscast. Next, Honorable Halifa Saleh, the presidential candidate for the PDUI-led coalition, continued public engagements with Gambians on Monday, while meeting electorates to deliberate on his party's transformative ideas that seek to introduce system change. Saleh is conducting face-to-face meetings with communities discussing his party's agenda. Yere Jalo tells us more.
Honorable Saleh went countrywide on campaign advocating for system change. He seeks to eradicate poverty, ignorance and injustice in the Gambia. On Monday, Saleh, together with his entourage, visited Jabang, Tauto, Latria and Sinchuri, among other places, discussing his party's transformative agenda. Saleh told his supporters that he wants to eradicate poverty, injustice and ignorance in the Gambia. He revealed that the transformative agenda aims to accelerate the building of self-reliance and self-determined economic base to ensure poverty eradication and sustainable development-centered socio-economic development.
Naki, suñ amé meew mi dinañ ko jënd seen loxo def ko cheese def ko butter def ko yogurt su ko defee doomi réew mi am liggéey ñuy jaay loolu bitim réew loolu yëpp dafa isi alali réew mi ñu mun ko suqali ndax réew mi mun a jëm kanam.
The PDUI standard bearer, while addressing a large gathering of youth, said system change is the way forward for the country. The experienced 68-year-old politician said his party's transformative agenda would create jobs for Gambians, particularly the young people, in many sectors of the economy, ranging from agriculture, fisheries, processing, and business, among others. He said the current system does not have the answers to the problems of the country, adding that there is need for a system change. Honorable Salah said the PDUI's-led government would enable individual income and community income to rise proportionately to facilitate availability of affordable food, safe drinking water, sanitation, housing, and renewable energy for adequate quality and quantity to promote general welfare of both rural and urban dwellers. He disclosed plans that, if voted into office, the national budget would be regionally shared to provide each region with funds to allocate to regional and district treasury accounts managed by regional councils and district councils. The firebrand parliamentarian stated that a PDUI-led government would establish a sovereign national wealth fund to invest in the productive sectors of the economy, such as buying fishing trawlers and farm equipment for farmers.
te ñu ngi bay gerte fii mun nañ ko olbati mu nekk diwlin mu nekk saabu seen doom yi di liggéey ci factory yooyu xaalis boobu nga xam ne dem na mi ngir réew dina toog ci suufi réew mi suqali koom-koomi réew mi ndax suñ doomi réew mi mu am liggéey.
The talk continues. For GRTS News, this is Zero Jallo reporting.
Elsewhere, the deputy leader of the United Democratic Party has described the UDP's 5-point agenda as all-inclusive. Ajayam Seka made the remark during the rally at New Yundum. She said the 5-point agenda has a comprehensive program in addressing the healthcare needs of the country, education sector, agriculture and youth empowerment, among others. Babu Cham reports.
Another massive crowd at Yundum, a similitude to the Brikama rally. Anxious fans full of energy and enthusiasm stormed the park with trumpets, whistles and drumming, sending the crowd on their heels. Addressing the rally, the deputy leader of the United Democratic Party, Ajayam Sek, described the UDP's 5-point agenda as all-inclusive. She said the 5-point agenda has a comprehensive program in addressing the healthcare needs of the country, education, agriculture, youth employment, amongst others.
5-point agenda.
5-point agenda.
17 points la.
Point tani wala bije.
Wa jurom len sitana.
Bari wudula tombonje.
Jurom yo mo priority.
Wulu mudulo wala ka priority support.
Sin form government.
Ye masa kundalo.
Wor ko yaram gangsi.
Jatkinde abijele.
Jigeen ñangsi.
Musol bije.
Ndaw yangsi.
Dinewal bije.
Njanga mangsi.
Kalo bije.
Wor ko yaram bangsi.
Jatkinde abije.
Ñun ñep xam nañ ne.
Lon na ko.
Liñ lim ni
The leader for Gambia for All, Bakari Bunja Dabo, emphasized the importance of the 2021 presidential election, noting that it is the only opportunity to effect change to reform the Gambia into a safe haven.
wala be election kunna tola
loolu moo tere si boppi élection bi
imam Gambia bunda be din ko men kono
so ande Gambia
yin election ñene mon sa last chance te
bi mooy last chance
ni chance yen dang
chance bi su rawe
ka fo dawda a ko mon tema hañe
mu ne dafa fekk gannaaw loolu moom ñene loolu
wala te nan si election o muta
moo tax dañu war a fonk élection bi
na kelo to ñawña ñama pour nga
ñu war a xeex pour mun a génne
tolde dalilo me yatina na patio Gambia for all
ñun dalila bi tax ñu suñ parti Gambia for all
ko nga deng ni nga UDP la candidate endorse
ñu ne nañ bokk ñu endorse candidate UDP
dalilo ñu bankola condition o wolin sula.
A one-time presidential aspirant, Marisol Jabate, enjoined all to conduct the election in peace. She noted that UDP always advised its supporters to be law-abiding, while calling on observers to take note of certain remarks by other politicians.
In the national body observing the election, please advise the president of the Gambia to stay calm. We know he's nervous. And yes, Mr. President, you have every reason to be nervous.
Mr. President,
Your ministers are quitting. They have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Your ambassadors, they are embarrassed. They are 1 foot in, they are 1 foot out. They have no faith in you. You have embarrassed your cabinet. They're just tagging along with you till the end.
Tida Bobok Yere renewed her allegiance to the United Democratic Party, describing them as patriotic, committed, and resolute.
Wonderful compliments.
Speakers including Banyulindi Ward Councillor Abibangura, Kimo Sise, Landing Kote, Terema Dahaba, amongst others, implore on people to vote for UDP for enhanced socio-economic development. The rally also witnessed so many defectors demonstrating their allegiance to the United Democratic Party. Paucham, GRTS.
Independent candidate Esam Baifal promised to bring more infrastructure and social development for Gambians as addressed a mass rally in Brikama, West Coast region on Monday. Fal's campaign trail with team turnaround continues ahead of polling day. Ibrahim Jallo is following the independent presidential candidate and Fal's in this report.
This was the atmosphere in Brikama, as thousands of people, mainly youth, gathered for a mega rally in support of Esam Baifal, the only independent candidate of this year's presidential election in the Gambia. Several speakers at the meeting informed Mr. Fall of their challenges and development needs in the area, and hope that a government led by the Sobeya team leader would do better. They promised to fill the ballots in favor of Esam Baifal for victory in the race to the State House on Saturday. Esam Baifal promised to light up Brikama if elected president. He also vowed to build a modern market, hospital, and roads in the town.
We will light up Brikama. We will light up Brikama. We will build the roads. We will bring electricity. We will bring schools. We will make sure that Brikama has the right and appropriate infrastructure.
He said Brikama is an important town in the country by virtue of population and geographical size, and its contribution to the country's economy.
At least Muneka a second capital. Mangi taxaw ci kaw akabe lorin santo way mangi ni di hol Brikama akay ferabe Brikama.
Mr. Fall promised to create jobs and increase salaries of civil servants for a decent and dignified life.
Low-cost housing dina am so that poor people be new na house.
Ibrahim Jallo, GRTS News.
Go back to our top story. The National Unity Party, which has launched the second leg of its political campaign in the Greater Banjul area after 2 weeks in provincial Gambia. The NUP held meetings in Jiboro, Basuri, Lamin Kerawan, Willingara and Sukuta in the West Coast region. Their campaign trail is led by Secretary General and Standard Bearer Abdullah Ibrahim Jame, who has promised universal health coverage by providing good healthcare services for all Gambians if voted into office. Usman Mane is with the NUP campaign team and prepared this report.
The NUP Thursday continued their election campaign in the Lower River region with meetings in Bodayel, Jalambere, Misra and Kiang Kulikunda ahead of their homecoming in the Greater Banjul area. Addressing the meeting in Bodayel while presenting a set of jersey and footballing materials, Standard Bearer Abdullah Ibrahim Jame promised to improve the agriculture sector, youth and women empowerment, as well as infrastructural development. In our manifesto, we see sports as a profession, and under my government, when elected, we will invest wisely to promote sports development, thus reduce youth unemployment. Jammeh assured the young people of Bodayel. He re-echoed similar messages in Jalambere, Kulikunda and surrounding villages, where he convinced the electorates of a swift and rapid developmental transformation across the country. Having had a brief rally in Kombo Sotokoi on Friday, this is how the NUP leader was received in Mandinaba by lovers and party militants who are mostly young people. The procession drove through Brikama, where scores of energetic youths joined the entourage with motorcycles, while others were on foot escorting presidential candidate Abdullah Ibrahim Jame. The reception accorded to Jame indicates gains for the NUP in Brikama as he passed through his hometown. A delightful youth dressed in NUP attire believes that Abdullah Ibrahim Jame is the man who has the qualities of a leader to salvage the country. The young man is among the grand commandos of the party who are rallying behind Abdullah Ibrahim Jame's bid for the presidency. On arrival at the Yundum Airport Junction, a unanimous call by supporters of the NUP and GDC emphasizing President Barrow's removal from office with the famous slogan, Ajindi. A grand welcome awaiting Mama Kande was visible all the way as dedicated party supporters lined up the highway. In solidarity, they cheered and danced with the NUP militants as the motorcade enters Lamen en route to Westfield via Sukuta to his residence in Salaji, West Coast region. Going into the wee hours after a long hectic day, tired he was, Standard Bearer Abdullah Ibrahim Jame gave his reaction about the welcoming and a successful campaign in rural Gambia.
Whatever it is, the IGIG, the government there, we should get rid of and then bring in another government. Whatever the government is going to be. So as like, you know, we have a common, I wouldn't say enemy, you know, but we have a common problem to solve. You know, that's the message I get from them. Politics is a game of numbers, really. I mean, if that is what the crowd is exhibiting, yeah, it's a game of numbers. But I know for a fact that, you know, there are a lot of voters who wouldn't come out in the states, so in public support, you know, for their parties, because there are too many other things to do, you know. So, and whatever crowd that comes out is not 960,000 people, really. It's way less than that, you know. So, you know, I mean, yes, crowd may give some indication, but I don't think it's conclusive. We went around the country, and they all talk about the same problem. It's water, electricity, hospitals, schools, very basic things, and the rising cost of living. You know, and the message we're trying to send across is actually providing solutions, you know, to those problems.
The campaign continues in Kombo East, West Coast region with caravans and meetings. Usman Mane, GRTS.
Next, the incumbent, His Excellency Adama Barrow, has revealed his government's plan to transform the Bakote dump site into a central garage and promised farmers that government will buy their groundnuts and increase this year's price to $28,000 per ton, above last year's price of $20,000. While the incumbent President Barrow was speaking during Mass National People's Party rally in Bakau and Serekunda, Mama J covered the activities and files in this report.
The last-minute campaign is drumming up excitement among electorates as politicians continue to convince voters to switch sides, especially the undecided voters. The campaign for the December 4th polls is in crunch time, with the NPP-led coalition targeting strategic constituencies like Bakau in the Kanafi municipality, where Alkali Bojang welcomed President Adama Barrow and his coalition team. The public relations officer of the NPP, Basiru Gassama, told communities in the coastal town of Bakau, which is also a tourist attraction area, that the key to their development is with President Adama Barrow, and called on the people of Bakau to vote massively for the NPP. Former Minister of Works of Balagaba Jahumpa, known as Action Man, hailed President Barrow's development projects, describing his coalition as titanic bout of development. APRC's first deputy party leader Usman Rambo Jatta said the people of Bakau have been opposition for more than 50 years and that it is now time for them to join President Adama Barrow and work together to develop their community. Mr. Rambo Jatta warned the Chief Executive Officer of the Independent Electoral Commission, Sambo Janjai, who is accused of being opposition UDP sympathizer. Meanwhile, 45 UDP supporters cross-carpet to the NPP, while a dozen other supporters from the APRC North Alliance joined the coalition. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmadulamin Samate, states that politics is all about development, highlighting President Barrow's numerous development projects in all sectors of life, including health. National President of the NPP, Dembo Bojang, alias Dembo by Force, explained how he left the opposition UDP to join the NPP. Dembo by Force denounced the UDP for what he called their tribal politics. The community of Bakau awarded President Adama Barrow, honorary citizen of Bakau, and present him with a key they believe to open all the kabilos in Bakau. Addressing the gathering, the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, thanked the community of Bakau for the kind gesture and promised to bring unprecedented development in Bakau, while assuring the coastal settlement of Bakau, especially the youth, that they will benefit a lot from the $50 million fishing project that is seeking to support and empower the youth. During the Bakau meeting, President Barrow reiterates his government's commitment to buy this year's groundnut from the groundnut farmers from a price tag of $20,000 per ton to $28,000 per ton. The NPP-led coalition wrapped up its meeting in Sarekunda constituency with a grand meeting at the Sarekunda Lower Basic School, where Alkali Serin Sheikh Job assured President Barrow of a resounding victory in the December elections. Several speakers, including PPP's Abdoulaye Ba, Ndeye Ame Gajigo, Amadou Lee, and NPP's constituency chairman Sheikh Omar Saho, explained how they have been canvassing for last-minute votes with a door-to-door campaign. They appealed to the president to help them with a garage in Sarekunda, provide them with skill centers for the youth, proper drainage system, and good road network, among others. Sarekunda Lower Basic School, which was built in 1949, has a dilapidated structure with a student population of over 6,000, including the annex. The community of Sarekunda appealed to the president to help rebuild the school. Pierre Minte of the APRC hailed President Barrow's new health insurance scheme, adding that even America, which is termed as the world economic superpowers, does not have a health care system that is offering free services to its people, and called on Gambians to vote for President Adama Barrow for more innovative developments. Former Agriculture Minister and member for Sarekunda, Honorable Omar Amadou Jala, alias OJ, advised former President Yahya Jammeh to stay away from Gambia's internal politics for his best interest. OJ Jallo therefore called on the people of Sarekunda to vote massively for President Adama Barrow. The Minister of Tourism and Culture and leader of the NRP, Honorable Ahmad Ba, began by paying tribute to Honorable Halifa Sallah, one of the presidential aspirants and current member of Sarekunda, for the invaluable service he has rendered to the nation. Honorable Ba commended President Barrow for his democratic values, freedom of the press, independence of the judiciary and National Assembly, adding that Gambia is among the few countries with no political prisoners. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, promised to transform Sarekunda into a modern city with good road network and drainage system. He explained how the Youth and Women Development Funds as well as the NYSS is supporting youth and promised to create more job opportunities for Gambian youth. He revealed plans to transform the backwater dump site into a central garage. Adama Barrow, the leader of the NPP, wants to shape the country's internal politics to a more constructive one that will be beneficial to the Gambia rather than clinching to a personal agenda. He called on the opposition to do away with the politics of character assassination and tribe, which he said has no place in the Gambia. Mama J, GRTS.
We're staying with the campaign trail because the Gambia Democratic Congress has been holding meetings in Jiboro, Marakisa, Makumbaya and Brikama in the West Coast region as political aspirants tour urban Gambia to mobilize votes ahead of the December election. Well, Louis Mendy reports that the people of the area pledge allegiance to the party leader, Mama Kandeh.
The people of Combo South were in jubilant mood at the receipt of the GDC-led coalition on Monday. In Nyofele and Tanye, both the old and the young couldn't hold their feet. Lamendi, one of the mobilizers for the GDC, said the party leader Mama Kandeh is the reason he has joined politics. Kandeh is the only politician in the history of this country using his personal resources to enhance the livelihood of the rural poor while not yet in power. With our taxes in his hands, he will develop the country, said Lamendi, calling on all Gambians to give Mama Kandeh a chance in the coming election. We are Sonko, who praised the people of Tanje and the surrounding villages for the massive turnout at the rallies, assured GDC of victory in the December polls. The Combo South I know can't afford to vote for any other politician, said We are Sonko. For the women, the rising prices of food items, the recent insecurity that comes along with stealing and killing of innocent people are the reasons they lack faith in the government. We are voting for Mama Kandeh for change, they say. Having a voter's card is one thing, but voting is another, said Boubacar Jiba, encouraging all Gambians to vote to ensure the change they desire. The coastal settlements of Combo South is blessed, said Yaya Tamba. The GDC-led coalition has plans to establish a seaport in the area and in other strategic places across the country to ensure river transport and to open the country to the rest of the world through Senegal, Guinea, and Mali for rapid socio-economic growth if it wins the election. The GDC will also reclaim ownership of our river, which is said to be characterized by illegal, irregular, and unreported fishing by foreign countries to the disadvantage of Gambians. The news was well received by the people, including independent political aspirant lawyer Martin, who is also part of the GDC-led coalition.
Under Honorable Mama Kandeh, we will train our skilled youths. Natural resources, we will take back ownership. This is what I mean guarantee Kandeh Mole. Because all our fishing villages, Tanje, Sanyang, Gunjur, and everywhere, I don't let Tamunyin quality. So I thought Mano Jiben coming in Mano Abetinyari.
The Bijilo, Jabang, and Banyundi meetings also promised massive support to GDC. In Tanye, women and youth defected from other parties to GDC. Mama Kandeh promised to heal their sufferings and that of all Gambians if he wins the election. Mama Kandeh also said Combo South is rich in human resource, the center for fishing and sand mining, but inhabitants are not reaping the benefits. I will change that if I win the election. Mama Kandeh closed the meetings by warning Gambians not to sell their voters' card. It is against the IEC electoral laws to buy and sell voters' cards, and the public should desist from that and endeavor to vote wisely. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
Meanwhile, the incumbent, His Excellency Adama Barrow, will lay the foundation stone for the construction of a modern hospital with a capacity of 1,500 beds in Farato on Monday. The health facility is expected to significantly address healthcare delivery in the country. Ahead of the grand ceremony, GRTS's Marian Jai Ajayi spoke to the Health Minister, Dr. Ahmadulamin Samate, about the monumental development. Take a listen.
What we are going to do on Thursday is the foundation laying ceremony that's going to be carried out by His Excellency the President, Mr. Adama Barrow. It's going to be the foundation laying ceremony of the National Emergency Center. Now, when COVID-19 started, the COVID-19 pandemic, most countries did not have emergency treatment centers for infectious diseases or for other medical emergencies. Now, it had been a big challenge for many countries, including the Gambia. We battled to have places to put our COVID-19 patients. Then we came up with this idea that we need a permanent treatment site for the management of COVID-19 and any other future epidemics or pandemics. That is what brought about this emergency treatment center for COVID-19. Now, the participation of the partners, the donor partners in our COVID-19 response has been very useful. So as a country, what we decided to do, yes, as we deal with COVID-19, but we want to use it, the response, to also strengthen our health system. So the resources we are getting for the COVID-19 response, we believe should be spent in dealing with the response, but also in strengthening the health sector, the health system, to deal with the response and any future responses if needed. That is why we came up with this idea of having a national emergency treatment center. But to have a system that is able to react well, we thought of the other components. This National Emergency Treatment Center will have 20 ICU beds. It will have 84 emergency treatment beds. The complex will also have our new National Public Health Laboratory. It will equally have our new National Blood Bank Services. It will have a conference center for the ministry, and it will equally have a training center for the ministry. Now, this complex is going to form the initial phase of the 1,500-bed teaching hospital the government intends to build at Farato. After this phase, other phases will come to add on to this, and eventually we get the 1,500-bed hospital. Now, this complex, this treatment center that His Excellency is going to lay the foundation stone for is going to be fully equipped with all the equipment that are needed for it to function properly. In addition to that, we're going to have additional equipment for investigation, imaging equipment, CT scanners, ultrasound scanners, MRI scanners, X-ray machines, and so on and so forth. So this is what the foundation laying ceremony is about.
Dr. Ahmadulamin Samate, the Minister of Health, speaking to Marian Jai Ajayi. And that takes us to our first break. When we come back, the news continues right here on GRTS. Do stay tuned.
For the first time in the Gambia, AfriCell, in partnership with Geek Express, the first mobile tech education lab in the Gambia. From the 15th till the 28th of November, 24 schools, more than 1,400 students will learn, practice, and get involved in the world of technology. 3D printing, robotics, electronics, VR and AR, drones. What a wonderful opportunity. AfriCell, the Gambia's leading network.
Double the data, double the fun. Only on AfriMoney.
Buzz Bundle. To enjoy the Buzz Bundle on AfriMoney, dial *777# and double your data for as low as $10 and get 80 megabytes. And also, receive 3 gigabytes of data for only $150. There's more. Just dial *777# to find out.
All bundles are valid for 7 days. To cash in, visit our nearest AfriMoney agent.
AfriMoney. Send money anywhere, anytime.
niki ñeneenteeli fan ci weeri December 2021 Gambians dinañ amal sànnum karta ngir tànn njiiti réew mu jiite ñu ci diiri juróomi at yi ci kanam ñii di waa Interparty Committee di mbootaay bi parti yi taxawal ci seen biir ngir bañ a réeroo ci ñoomi neen ñii ñuy ñaax képp kuy doomi réew mi ak it ñi dëkkee ci réew mi ngir ñu sàmm suñ jàmm ji ak jëfee sarta yi Independent Electoral Commission tëral balaa élection bi ci biir élection bi ak it bu élection yi passé gannaaw bi nga sànnee karta nga la ñibbil sa kër toog xaar xibaar yi jógee ko ci Independent Electoral Commission IEC ñii di jongante ngir njiiti réew ak ñii ñu àndal ñu ngi leen a ñaax ngir ñu nangu xibaar wala results yi di bàyyeekoo ci IEC ñu di leen ko jottali te teg ko fu óor amul benn sikki sàkka saa yoo yëgee ku bokk ci parti wala ku bokk ci jongante président bi wala ñiñ àndal buy jëf ñaawteef di xita sarta di fitna boole ko ci nomba bi di nomba kuréel bi parti yi taxawal di 2199930 ci bépp network ci réew mi doo fay dara nañ leen bàyyi xel ci jàmm ji ci suñ biir te dax lépp luy fitna xibaar bi mu ngi bàyyeekoo ci waa Interparty Committee bi di Gambia IPC jàppale leen di waa National Democratic Institute for International Affairs NDI ak waa United Nations Development Programme UNDP.
That brings an end to this edition of the News at 10, News at 8. I beg your pardon. Before we go, we quickly take a recap of the top stories once again. The political atmosphere reaches fever pitch as Saturday's presidential election edges closer, with 6 presidential candidates campaigning in the Combo area and densely populated Kanifing municipality. President Barrow is scheduled to lay the foundation stone for the construction of an ultra-modern health facility in Farato on Thursday. The Gambia Red Cross Society is intensifying its COVID-19 response in the country with the launch of a new project on the impact of the infectious disease on vulnerable children. And as the globe commemorates World AIDS Day on December 1st, the United Nations has called for solidarity and more investment to end inequality and stigma in the fight against HIV/AIDS by 2030. That was all in this edition of the News at 8 with me, Fatimata Sise. Thank you for joining us. I'll be back in the studio at 2200 hours in more news. Until then, up next is Election Watch with me and the ESA. So momentarily, do stay tuned.
Thank you.